to our channel. My name's Chloe, this is Jo, and together we are the Moochers. In today's video we're going to be breaking down for you the extension process of the STV visa. We're going to be giving you a step-by-step guide of exactly what we did, and we now both have our successful extensions in our passports. We're making this video because we've seen that online there is a lot of confusion on what to do here and what you require for the immigration services when you get there, and so we thought we'd put it all in one video to make it a little bit more simple for everyone.
So keep in mind that the STV rules and regulations have actually changed recently, haven't they? So we're actually going to take you through that towards the end of the video and give you some alternatives, other visas that are available for you to come over to Thailand. As well as this, we're going to give you a bit of an update of what's going on in the country and what this means for people travelling in and the tourism industry within the country.
So the first thing that you need to know is that you cannot extend your visa until 2 weeks before your approved 90 days comes to expire, and that 2-week rule applies for all types of tourist visas.
So the first thing we did, because we saw so much conflicting information online through YouTube across many different forums, we decided to actually take a trip down to immigration before the 2-week extension period, so we can actually get the correct information from the people at immigration. So immigration give us a checklist of exactly what we need to do. And the reason we went down to do this is so we could provide you with the information so you don't have to go down. So this is what we're going to tell you right now.
Okay, so the first thing on the checklist is the application for extension of temporary stay in the Kingdom of Thailand, and that's called a TM7 form. You'll be provided with that form on the day of your arrival. The people, like the immigration staff, will already have that form with them. And there is also something called a TM2 form, and that's the acknowledgement of the terms and conditions of the temporary stay in Thailand. Both of them forms, like I say, will be given to you on the day, so you don't need to worry about that until you actually get there.
So the second thing that you're going to need is the departure card, which is the TM6. So you get this on arrival in Thailand, so if you've not entered Thailand yet, make sure you keep it, and if you are in Thailand, obviously, make sure you find it. So we'll put a picture up on the screen now of the TM6 so you'll know exactly what it looks like and exactly what you need to fill in.
The third thing that you'll need on the checklist is a printed clear photocopy of the picture page in your passport, and you will also need a photocopy of the visa page in your passport and a photocopy of the completed TM6 slip. You'll also need a small passport-sized photo on a white background, and you can get this done at the immigration office. They'll print you out about 6 copies, and you can also get all of your photocopying done there as well, but they do charge you a small price.
Yeah, and the price is actually, I can remember off the top of my head, it's 5 baht for each photocopy, and it's 100 baht for 4 passport photos. So if you can find somewhere cheaper before, you might be able to save yourself a little bit of money there. So next on the list is the proof of health insurance, and like when you apply for the STV, this has to be exactly the same. It must cover at least 40,000 Thai baht of outpatient coverage and 400,000 Thai baht of inpatient. Also, it has to have that 100,000 US dollars for any issue going on with the global pandemic. And finally, just wanted to say that we use Mr. Prakan again, and this is a website that does Thai insurance, a comparison website, but the actual company we used is Alliance, so we'll put the links in the description below. Another quick point as well, we heard that some insurance companies can be quite hard to renew, so if you've not come into the country yet, it's worth maybe having a look to see if you can do the full 6 or 9 months depending on how long you're planning on staying, because once you're in Thailand we've heard there could be a few issues. Luckily ours didn't, so that's why we'll recommend them to you. So yeah, that's the next point.
So the next thing that you need to check off the checklist is the proof of accommodation, and this is the thing that we have seen so much confusion about online, and we had that same confusion as well before we actually went and spoke to the staff at immigration and did the whole process ourselves. So to clear this up once and for all, you just need proof of your current accommodation at the time of applying for your visa extension, and no more than that. We see online people saying you need it for 3 months in advance, for 6 months, and you need all the proof of payments and confirmation emails, and it's just, in our case, it was just not the way it went. All you need is your proof for the place you are staying in at that time. So, for example, when we applied for the extension, our accommodation actually ran out in that same week, and they were still okay with that. I mean, we have just recently moved, well, today we moved, and they did not have the accommodation address for this place. They only had it for our previous, which is what we were staying in at the time of extension. So don't think that you have to have even a month in advance booked, because it's just not true. Well, I can't speak for other immigration offices, but for Koh Samui, that's the way it went, and I'm assuming that they would be pretty consistent across the board. So
finally, you need to make sure you bring your passport with you and 1,900 Thai baht, and we'll put the conversions up on the screen right now so you can see what it is in your currency. So that is everything on the checklist. So on the screen now, I'll put everything back up again, so you can then take note for yourself before you go and do your extension.
And if you have all of these things checked off on the checklist, you should meet every single requirement for the immigration office, and you should get through the extension process with breeze.
And please drop us a comment if there's anything that we're kind of unsure about, or anything that you've done and you're not sure if it's going to be meeting the requirements, because we feel like we've been doing visa after visa recently, so we're becoming kind of experts on them.
And please give a comment down below as well if you've done your visa extension process already and you had a different experience to us, because like we say, we've renewed at Koh Samui. This is the way it's gone for us, and I mean, anyone's comments down below could help other people out if they're in different parts of the country. So now that we've covered the whole extension process of the special tourist visa, we want to go into the updates on the special tourist visa, other visas, and updates on exactly what's going on in Thailand right now with the current situation that we're all in. From December 30th, 2021, the STV visa will be no more. So this means that anyone entering Thailand on an STV visa from the 3rd of July will not be permitted to renew their visa or have any kind of extension. Therefore, the last possible time to extend the STV must be before the 30th of September 2021. Something else to consider is that STVs can't actually be changed to any other type of visa once the visa has expired. So if you are on an STV visa, once you have run up your whole stay here, which would be 9 months, you would have to leave Thailand.
So with the news that the special tourist visa will be no more, what are your other visa options coming into Thailand at the moment? So the first option is the TR visa, or the tourist visa. This one gives you an initial 60 days on arrival, and then you can extend it to another 30 days, which gives you a total of 90 days stay. Now the cost of this is between 45 and 110 US dollars, so I'll pop the conversions up. The reason for this difference is it depends on the country and the embassy, so make sure that you check your local embassy for the price of this kind of visa. Another visa would be the Thailand Elite Visa. So this is a long-term visa. It's 5, 10, I think, or even 50 years. But it depends on what you apply for, and also the cost depends on what you apply for. So there's a lot more information on this visa on the website I've just put at the bottom of the page right now. So you can look into that yourselves, and it's best advised that you have an agency help you with this kind of visa. It's a bit more complicated than a standard tourist visa. So now I'm going to go over a few other kind of visas, some different options for you, and this is the retirement visa, which you have to be above the age of 50 years old, and then you have non-immigrant visas, which include things like business, if you have a spouse or family member out in Thailand, and also education. Again, these visas are a bit more complex, so you're probably best off looking online on that same website. I'll put it again at the bottom here so you can have a look for yourself.
So now that we've covered all of the visa updates and the alternative kind of visas that you can go on now that the STV is ending, we are going to move on to what is happening in Thailand now and how is it going to affect travel and tourism. So recently there has been an announcement that as of the 6th of May 2021, all tourists coming into Thailand will have to quarantine for a period of 14 days in an ISQ hotel.
Yeah.
This has changed because before, if you was from a certain country or if you had had both the vaccinations, you would have to quarantine for less time than countries such as the UK. But now it's a blanket rule for everyone. Everyone has to quarantine for 14 days and you have to pay for that ASQ stay on arrival in Thailand.
Yep, and if you want to know what it's like, we actually did that 14 days ourselves, so we'll put a little caption at the top so you can press on the link and watch that video for yourself.
So the reason that these new quarantine rules have been introduced is because Thailand is now battling its third wave of infections and the restrictions are now in place across the country. Some of the restrictions, for example, are the basic ones like wearing a face mask, and everyone in every province has to wear a face mask in public areas now, and there is a 20,000 baht fine for people who are not wearing masks, so you definitely don't want to be breaking that rule. Other restrictions are in place depending on the provinces, and the country is in a 3-tier system, so there is red, amber and yellow, and there is even talks of maybe a dark red being introduced as well. And in the red zones, such as Bangkok and Chiang Mai, restaurants are closed and they're only doing takeaway food service, and that actually stops at 9 p.m. The bars are closed in the red zones, the gyms are closed, but you obviously still have the necessities such as supermarkets open. So just make sure that you're aware of the restrictions in your area, as each province has the ability to enforce harsher restrictions, and you don't want to be breaking any rules while you're here.
And finally, there is evidence to show that these restrictions are starting to work and the cases are dropping. So with this, the Prime Minister has said that if the cases continue to drop, in July they will still open Phuket, which means no quarantine as long as they can get at least 70% of the people living on the island vaccinated.
So that is the end of our video. We hope that you have found this informative. Please comment below with any questions that you have, because we're always more than happy to help with this process, because we appreciate how frustrating and confusing it all can be. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you in our next video.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.